Oh, we finally made it. We made it. We made it all week. Looking forward to this divisional round of football. A lot of people say wildcard weekend is their favorite, but now we got the Final Four. Final Four headed down the stretch. A couple of number one seeds. We're finally going to see them come out of the woodworks. Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers both facing a couple of really feisty six seeds going into this weekend. What's up, everyone? This is the game day preview show. Prop bets, lines, screens, everything. We got everything for you. I'm your girl, Courtney Fallon. What's up? Kenny bets big, as always.
What's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? Crushed last week, ready to roll into the divisional round. I'm pretty excited. How you feeling, Courtney? You ready?
You know what? I'm just going to leave it all to you because you got some pretty feisty, very big money bets that are online for this weekend. A lot of favorites. So I'm just going to let you have the soapbox for the most part on this one. You ready to kick it off?
I'm more than ready. Born ready.
All right. This first game, it's going to be a good one. The Packers and the Rams, they're playing at Lambeau Field. The Packers are a 6.5-point favorite. The over-under in this one a little low at 45, and that's because it's the number one offense going up against the number one defense. This is like literally the perfect playoff microcosm. What gives? Is it the better offense? Is it the better defense? And the Rams have certainly showed that they are capable of stopping just about everyone down the stretch, even when they don't have Jared Goff at full health, but he will be starting in this one. He played pretty well coming off the bench last week. But the Rams, they're going up against Aaron Rodgers. Future MVP, I think we called it here a couple weeks ago. Who knows? Josh Allen could come in and steal that one, in the awards in a couple of weeks. But you've got Aaron Rodgers, 45 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I mean, this man is on a roll. He's got all the weapons. It seems like nothing really can stop him. But this is going to be a big matchup right now with Devontae Adams, Jalen Ramsey. It's going to be on display. So let's kick it off. What are your thoughts on this one? Do you think that the over-under is a little too low on this, or you think that Aaron Rodgers is going to have his way? Personally, I just think that he's unstoppable.
So I'll be honest, this is like a very, very tough game to handicap, right? Like you touched on, the number one defense, the Rams, usually in the playoffs, defense is what wins, right? That's what, like the saying goes, defense wins championships. But with that being said, the other team does have a guy called Aaron Rodgers on their team. So, it's always very hard going against the Packers at home, especially come playoff time, right? Like the Rams are used to playing in nice, sunny California weather. Like, how are they going to hold up in Lambeau Field in, freezing cold temperatures? Remains to be seen. If you look at historically based on trends and, numbers, underdogs are 39, 27, and 1 against the spread in the divisional round. Underdogs who are facing a number one seed are 22 and 11 against the spread, good for a 67% return on investment. And then underdogs that fail to make the prior postseason are 24 and 11 against the spread. So when you look at all the, the history, the trends, everything to look at that, it's screaming take the Rams here. 6.5 is a ton of points, especially with the number one defense. But, like I said, it's the other team does have Aaron Rodgers, with these trends, Aaron Rodgers was not the quarterback that each team was facing. So if you're going to go for a money line bet, I would definitely go with the Packers here. 6.5 is a lot. So if you're going to go spread, I would lean Rams. But I just can't see the Rams, winning this game outright. So I would go Packers. I personally I'm throwing them in a few different teasing them down to a pick, just to protect myself against that spread.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Rams offense? Just given the capabilities of Jared Goff or incapabilities, are they going to have to be relying a lot on Cam Akers in this game? So it's going to be a lot of ground and pound.
Just from a game plan standpoint, I would assume we're going to see a lot of the run game from the Rams, just to try and limit how much Aaron Rodgers does have the ball. But like you said, the Rams do have, in my opinion, the number one offensive-minded coach in Sean McVay. It was a question mark last week. Are the Rams going to be able to score enough points to get it done? And we saw Sean McVay had the X's and O's dialed up perfectly, and they dropped 30 points on the Seahawks team. if this game gets into a shootout, I don't see the Rams being able to keep up with the Packers. But the Rams do have the number one defense, so if they can keep it to like a 20-point game, they definitely have a shot here.
Couple prop bets you like? Do you like any specifically? I like Davante Adams anytime touchdown. I feel like that's just a gimme.
Yeah, I'm not a big prop bet guy. And Davante Adams has been, on fire this whole season. You just got to worry about going up against Jalen Ramsey on the other side. I think Jalen Ramsey, for the whole season, he hasn't allowed over 20 yards in any game. I think he's allowed like under 15 catches. His season this year was almost comparable to Darrelle Revis, that one, standout year he had where he like shut Randy Moss down 2 times. I don't know if you remember that year, but his Jalen Ramsey's stats this year are, off the chart. Like he earned his money this year. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's him and Xavier Howard, possibly for defensive player of the year. They're just like neck and neck, but that's going to be a very special matchup as well. Do you want to move on to the next one? This one you got real excited about.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited about this one. One of my bigger bets, for anyone who's been listening to this show for the last 5-6 weeks, I've been saying it every week. The Ravens flock, Ravens flock, Ravens flock. They're going to catch fire at the right time, right into the playoffs. And that's exactly what happened. I've been on this Ravens train for 5 weeks now. Definitely not hopping off right now. I think the Ravens ground game is going to just run the ball down the Bills' throat. I think this is going to be an easy game. Ravens win going away, in my opinion.
Well, the good news is that there's no snow flurries. So there was a big question about Lamar Jackson playing his first ever snow game. That's not going to happen. As of our meteorologists that are behind the scenes, our producer says 1 p.m. there's some light flurries, but nothing impactful. So very light snow flurries. So, I mean, that's not going to affect. A lot of people are saying, is that going to affect Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, future MVP, last year's MVP? I mean, this is going to be a shootout to the end for sure. And luckily, the weather will not limit them through the air. Stephon Diggs promised to have another big game. And as you were saying, the Ravens getting it done on the ground. And then not only that, but just unleashing Lamar Jackson in the way that he can. What if he can get another buck 60 on the ground? The Ravens run game, I mean, they're averaging 262 yards on the ground the last couple of games. They've got a lot of options, and I know that you are a lot of future bets on that as well. So it will be an exciting game. Where's the majority of the money going? I know a lot of people like to get another buck 60 on the ground.
Yeah, right now there's about 50% of bets on Buffalo and right around 55% of the money on the Bills. So there's not a huge discrepancy on one way or the other. But as far as the total, like you touched on that, right now there's about 70% of the bets on the over, only around 55% of the money on the over. So the over is a public, pretty square play here. There is sharp money on the under. So I would lean Baltimore and the under here.
Okay. All right. You heard it here first.
And sorry for our producers. They, I don't know if you guys heard that echo at home.
Oh, that echo. I know. It's okay. It's okay. Listen, we don't get distracted. We just keep rolling. Browns.
Our producer's chilling on a nice beach right now. He's got to get his stuff together.
Browns at the Chiefs. This is a very interesting one. At least on first eye, the Chiefs are a 10-point favorite. The Chiefs have not covered the last since week 8. They have a tendency, if you're going to go money line with this, I hope you have it in a teaser to bring that back down if you like Kansas City in this one. But Browns at the Chiefs, 2 quarterbacks that haven't faced each other. They faced each other once. That was week 9 of 2018. Go back to their college days. I mean, everyone's talking about this. Oklahoma, Texas Tech, 1,200 passing yards through the air. It was an offensive onslaught. But the Browns, they are a running team, one of the best running teams in the league. And Nick Chubb at the helm, when he's been starting at 14 games, they're averaging about 160 yards on the ground. Baker Mayfield proving that he can get it done through the air. The Browns are coming off of the best first quarter of football in their entire franchise career. So you've got to expect a lot from them to just come out and bite at the bit. But this is an Andy Reid-led Super Bowl champion reigning team in the Chiefs, and coming off a bye and a little time off, they have just put up massive numbers, like 30, 40 points every single time. So where do you think this goes on Sunday?
Yeah, you touched on Cleveland playing one of the best first quarters. We've seen it throughout the year. This Cleveland team, they start hot and then they build the lead and they kind of fade. They did it against the Titans. I don't know if you remember that game, but this is a team, this Chiefs team, where if let's say even if the Browns go up 21-0 in the first quarter, by the graces of God that happening. I don't see it happening, but let's just say it does. This Chiefs team, they're not the Steelers. That lead can erase in, couple plays with this Chiefs team. We've seen it happen last year in the playoffs. I think right now there's just too much hype around the Browns team. There's about 55% of the bets and 60% of the money on Cleveland right now, which is like just remarkable to me that you can actually fade the public here and take the Chiefs, especially coming off of a bye week where, Andy Reid is notoriously the best coach ever coming off of a bye week, right? Yeah. I think this is a no-brainer for me. I love the Chiefs here. I think they're going to run all over the field. I don't think the Browns literally stand a chance. Like Chase Claypool said, they're going to get clapped this week.
You're doubling down. I know those are
the spread is a little high. Like I don't really like the bet spreads that high.
They just don't cover.
What was that?
I said the Chiefs just like to not cover. They like to keep it a little closer than you thought.
Yeah, but just like we see like in the NBA, maybe the Chiefs, I feel like they know that they're just so good that they can, we saw it happen in a few games this year where they'll just kind of be in a lull and then they're down on the last drive and Patrick Mahomes drives down the field in 30 seconds and gets them the win. So I think it's the playoffs. I think we're going to see a different Chiefs team. I think they're going to be, laser focused coming off that bye week. And I just don't think the Browns have enough weapons on defense to slow this team down. Like, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Le'Veon Bell, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Patrick Mahomes. Like, I just think it's going to be too much for the Browns. And, I think that was like, last week was their Super Bowl, like, first playoff win in how long. They beat the Steelers, huge division rival. I just think the Browns are going to lay a dud today or tomorrow.
Okay.
Sorry.
Tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. And one more game to cover on our slate. But before we get into it, our guys at the Game Day podcast, Marcus Mosher and Adam Kramer, they got a couple thoughts on the History Bowl, as everyone's calling it. Drew Brees against Tom Brady. Take a listen.
I don't trust Drew Brees right now.
Fascinating game, given the fact that we're seeing these two teams for the third time. We've got the Saints. They are 3-point favorite at home versus the Bucs. Over under 52. Tampa Bay 12-5, 8-7-2 against the spread. Saints 13-4, 10-7 against the spread. The Saints won both of these games straight and against the spread. Granted, the first one was the first game of the year, right? Tom Brady, 5 interceptions in those games, has looked old, right? He's had a couple of throws that we talked about that fluttered. Some of the worst throws of his life have come in this game this year. And I look at those results, Marcus, and I'm not sure how much I can do with them. That's the struggle I'm having with this game is, do they have their number? Look, the Saints D look great, but you mentioned it in the top of the pod. Like, is this a Mitch Trubisky thing or is this a Saints thing?
I don't trust Drew Brees right now. Like, some of the passes that he was throwing in that game, the balls were just fluttering to the sideline, and it seemed like they took forever to get there. And I think this Tampa Bay team is pretty much, they're a different team than what we saw halfway in the season. Antonio Brown has actually changed that offense. Rob Gronkowski making plays down the middle of the field. I'm still worried about that defense because Taylor Heineke, however you say his name.
I struggled with that on Winners and Losers, by the way. I had to go to YouTube. It is Heineke. Mike Tirico, shout out, help me out to get it right. But they can't do that. Like, Drew Brees can't. Like, his best plays were extending. That's what Heineke did so well, was escape. Yeah. Getting out of the pocket. He had like 50 yards rushing. And what are you going to have Taysom Hill just run around like crazy? It's not going to produce the same results.
No, I think these are two very similar teams. And because, again, the no home field advantage really with no fans, I don't know if it matters that much. Brady is going to be able to go in the Superdome and be able to have complete control of that offense with audibles and everything. I'm taking Tampa Bay plus the 3 points. These teams are, again, they're just so similar that just give me the points just in case something weird happens.
I'm going to go under here. And I think that, I asked you, is it Mitch Trubisky? Is it the defense? It's a little bit of both. I still think Tampa's defense can play well.
Give me the under as well. I like that. I think you convinced me. I just think there's going to be some nerves early in this game. These defenses are going to be jacked up. They're both really good when they can be, especially in the front four. I envision this being, again, something like a 7-3 start with the first 25 minutes of the game. So I like the under as well.
Biggest takeaway right there, Marcus agrees with you. He says that he doesn't trust Drew Brees. To me, we'll get into the details of this game, but part of me just looks at that Bucks being 3-point underdogs and me saying Tom Brady's got something to prove after getting absolutely shellacked by the Saints over the last couple of weeks. You heard them at the beginning of the season and at the end of the season. Part of me just can't believe that Tampa Bay is not going to bring their A game for this, but these are two hated division rivals. Drew Brees is 5-0 straight up and against the spread the last 7 times that they've met. So you got to look at the numbers. Are you looking at the numbers? Or are you looking more at your heart? I think I can say that I'm kind of leaning towards my gut on this one, Kenny.
Yeah, a little bit of both. So I mean, my gut and my heart are saying there's no way that the Bucks are losing this game. We're both Pats fans. We've seen it, far too often. Brady, gets a little motivated, ramped up. There's no stopping the guy. He's never lost to a team 3 straight times. It's hard enough to beat a team in the NFL 3 times in one season. It's even harder to beat Tom Brady 3 times in one season. Yeah. So I just can't see the Saints coming out and winning this game. Regardless of what happened in the regular season, this is a totally different Tampa Bay team, right? Like when the Bucks were getting shellacked, I don't even think they had Antonio Brown at that point yet. The Bucks were having terrible offensive line issues. They couldn't protect Tom Brady. Over the last few weeks, though, Tom Brady's stats are, off the chart. I think he's thrown 10 touchdowns to 1 interception. So everything is clicking right at the right time for this Bucks team. And listen, Tom Brady is a guy that I've learned over the years, you just don't bet against him, and you definitely don't bet against him in the playoffs. So yeah, I would have to agree with Marcus here, and I love the Bucks +3. I'm going to wait to see how, obviously they're not really dependent on one another, but I'm going to see how these next few games go today. Like, let's say the Rams win, the Ravens win, and, all the underdogs are winning. Yeah. I may be a little more hesitant to fire on the Bucks money line tomorrow, but the Bucks +3, +3.5, if you can get it at some books, that's a no-brainer bet for me. I love that one.
Okay. Well, do you think that they're going to be able to limit? And New Orleans' defense hasn't allowed a 300-yard passer in a while. So, again, it's the old adage: good defense,
all good things come to an end.
Good offense, you're betting on it. I know it. Kenny, did I lose you? Kenny.
Yep. Can you hear me? You're frozen.
I can hear you. All right, we back. Yeah. So any final words on that? The Tampa New Orleans game.
Oh yeah, no, just I would take Bucks here +3, and I would feel pretty confident with that. I would, obviously, like I tell everyone, don't bet above your head. Stay smart. I like to go 1 unit usually on every bet, but Bucks +3 for the crib, no doubter.
All right. Do you like Ravens money line, Bucks money line, or that's too risky?
Well, you're breaking up. You're cutting out there. I couldn't hear the last thing you said.
I said Ravens money line, Bucks money line, and a parlay.
Yeah, honestly, the payouts are great. I have some future bets, so it doesn't really make sense for me as far as what the payouts are. But yeah, if you were to combine the Ravens money line and the Bucks money line here, the odds would be somewhere roughly around +430. So definitely something that I can see. It's definitely not within reach. And I am betting my money on the Ravens to win as well as the Bucks to win.
Okay, you heard it here first. Kenny bets big. I'm Courtney Fallon. Any parting words for our listeners and our crowd? Just as you said, listen, you got to think about everything that's going on. You got to watch today, kind of check the temp, see who upsets, and then go from there. You're
cutting out. I can't hear anything you're saying. I'm so sorry.
Okay. I'm so sorry. All right. Well, that's all we got to do for today's show. I'm sorry, technical difficulties. Thanks for joining. Good luck today.